All right. What's up, everybody? What's up? What's up? How's everybody doing today? Um, so I don't know if you guys have been paying attention to the news or whatever. It's been all over. Hold on, let me get sent up here. So let me just kind of send. I'm a mute you.
Hmm.
But let me just kind of give you guys a heads up. So over the weekend, a story came to me. What's up, Queen Riri? Hey, Susie Q. But a story came to me, y'all. And it was like it wasn't really an article. It was like a 40-minute semi video. And in the video, it's this guy, and he's walking through this neighborhood. The neighborhood looks real run down and shabby and all, and basically, what happens is he comes upon this abandoned property, and there's a woman who is chained and shackled inside this abandoned property. And not only was she chained and shackled, but from what I learned from watching that 40, because it's a long video, y'all, sheesh. But from what I learned from watching that video, um, he basically says that the woman had allegedly been shackled in the abandoned property for weeks on end. According to the man who rescued the young woman, not only has she been in that house for weeks, but the house has neighbors next to it with children, and the children reported hearing her banging and calling out for help, and nobody did anything. Now, I don't know if y'all seen my latest videos, but I cover a lot of missing cases. I have recently covered some missing cases that came out of because this story came out of Chicago, Illinois, and this I covered recently some missing persons cases out of the Chicago, Illinois area. And just hearing that this woman was shackled in an abandoned house, for me, that was not shocking because I cover so many of these cases. And one of the cases that I went over recently, let me see if I can. It was just recently. It may have been a day or two ago, but it was concerning Racine Talia Farrell. Her ex-boyfriend ended up murdering her. He was convicted of first degree murder, first degree premeditated murder, and he put all the evidence as far as her bloody clothes, and he put her remains in an abandoned house. Okay, so just hearing that this woman was shackled and chained in an abandoned house, it didn't shock me. But as this video goes along, and y'all, I did as much as I could to try to download this video so I could screen share it on the live. I do have it on my channel, but at this time it's privatized. Okay, I have it privatized, and I will go public with it after this interview. Okay. Um, but yeah, so I was able to get a hold of the man who rescued this young woman. At this time, her name has not been released. I am concerned about her. I'm concerned about how she's doing. Has anybody since, because he rescued her basically from what he was saying in that video, he said he did not want to go into the abandoned property because he was fearful that when the police showed up, this is what Antwine said, the guy who rescued her. He said he was fearful that if he went into the property some way, somehow, he will possibly look like a co-conspirator to the crime. That's what he said in the video and all, right? So I got a hold of Antwine, and um, he told me that he would be able to come up and speak with me about this incident. So I am waiting on him, and as I wait on him to hit the link and possibly come up, because he said at this time I believe he said he's speaking with the mayor of Chicago about this incident. So I am waiting to hear his side of things and what happened, and just if he has went to check up on her, because I know she went and she was in the hospital and everything. If you guys let me add my screen here. So this is Antwine. This is the guy who heard that woman screaming and kicking on the boards, because y'all know abandoned houses, they have those broken windows, or sometimes they have boarded up windows, and So he heard her kicking on that window, and he went in. He didn't go in, but he kind of, addressed it, because as I've already discussed with you all, it was people who knew she was in there. It was children who told other people in the neighborhood that they heard her banging on these boards of this abandoned property, and nobody did anything. And like, I like that kind of baffled me that nobody did nothing. Like, I understand the snitch code in the hood, like, which I feel like really need to be abolished, because if you're not a part of the crime, I feel like if you're not a part of a crime, you should have no um problem calling the police. Or even if you are, you still can call 911 anonymously. Like, if you had a change of heart or whatever, and you did some messed up shit to somebody, you can still later on call 911 and call them anonymously. So I find it really odd that everybody heard her in that neighborhood banging on those boards, and nobody just thought to, like, okay, I probably don't want to get involved. Maybe it's because of my own safety that I don't want to get involved, but I can at least stay away at a safe distance and all, and still call 911. He said he did it, and he went. He was in a 40-minute video. He went live on Facebook, and he was just telling his story. And I was able to get a hold of him. Okay, and he said he would be late to this interview. Because he said that he is speaking to the mayor of the city of Chicago right now. But I'm going to read, and we're going to go through the article while we wait on him. And sometime along the way, I will try to hit him back up to see basically if he can join or whatever. But so yeah, I'm going to go through. So again, this is Antwine Dobine. I believe he goes by a nickname D Ice, so I'm just going to call him D Ice. Okay, so let's go through this article real quick, and then I'll get to you all's comments or whatever. So this is this house on the left is the abandoned house where he found that woman. Again, her name has not been released at this time. I hope I can be able to find her name and hopefully be able to talk to her. But again, some of these cases, we really have to be patient and give people their space. This woman not only was shackled and chained in this abandoned property on your left here, but allegedly she had been S-word assaulted. She had been beaten on. So I believe right now I am going to respect her privacy. I'm going to give her some space until like she's ready to come forward and say something. I'm not going to completely just hurry up and barge in, and like if her name is ever released, and then try to barge in and hurry up and get her story. I don't believe that's respectful. You know what I mean? So just think about that, y'all. Think about being in this abandoned property on your left here, the one with most of the plants growing on it and things. Think about being in this abandoned property. And sometimes abandoned properties, they're dangerous. They're not up to par. Obviously, they don't have. Some of them have holes in the floor you can fall through. Think about being in this type of property, chained and shackled at your wrists and your ankles. Okay, with a unknown predator. So just imagine not only being in that situation, but having had those cruel acts that was done to her on top of that. Okay. So that's why I said, really, I don't believe it's the best time to, like, even if she did want to speak, I possibly will refer her to mental health services. She's definitely going to need therapy getting through this, y'all. She definitely is. And I don't know, Queen Riri, shout out to you. I know you know who Miss Olivia is, but I don't know, Queen Riri, if you know who the Faith Factor is. But Queen Riri, I got on Olivia's panel like a couple days ago, and I shared my experiences with S-word abuse, especially because both of my experiences came early on in my childhood. Okay. And so I know firsthand that this woman is going through mentally, she's not in her right mind, and we just need to respect her privacy and give her time to heal. But I'm just let me read this article, and then I'll go back into my commentary. Okay. Sid, did you have anything to say?
Not yet. I'm still listening.
And then okay, Sid. But I'm going to put the link in the until D Ice comes up here. I'm going to put the link in the description or in the chat box. I'm thinking about the description box. Y'all, excuse me. I am working on 5 hours of sleep, y'all. I'm working on 5 hours of sleep. I don't know if y'all seen on my page, but I had other lives scheduled as well or whatever. I've been getting hold of other people. I have a live scheduled with Tiara Maynard. That is the sister of Asia Maynard. Her sister passed away under very suspicious circumstances or whatever. So I will be interviewing with her sister and two other very important Black women later on this week, plus studying this case. Okay. Yeah, Queen Riri. So Queen Riri, she says Inglewood is the worst neighborhood in Chicago, and these types of crimes happen there a lot, along with other violent crimes, unfortunately. So I definitely believe that because, from my standpoint, just covering the missing persons cases and the murders and of Black women and children, I get a lot of cases out of Chicago. And then one thing that D.I. said in that live video, he said that had it been a shooting, the Chicago Police Department allegedly would have responded very quick to a shooting. Okay. He said, but when it comes to missing persons, he said between 25 and 45 minutes, do they have to wait for like cases like missing persons or this lady being in this abandoned property? He said that usually they would have to wait up to about 45 minutes for police to respond to a call that has something to do with a lady being in an abandoned property. That's what he said. And I thought that was very eye opening. And, not only that, but Queen Riri, it kind of validates what you said. You said that violent crimes like this are very common in Chicago. So when I heard in that live that people have to wait up to 45 minutes for the police to respond, and for you to write that, Queen Riri, that kind of confirms what he said in the live. So Queen Riri says she hopes the woman is okay. I definitely am praying for her. And I'm just wondering, I had a bunch of questions set up for D Ice. I'm gonna give him maybe about 15, 20 more minutes before I try to contact him again. But I did send him the link. I'm gonna put the link as well in the chat to see if anybody else wanted to comment on this. But just remember, y'all, when you come up and you comment on my channel, I ask that you please be respectful of the victim, okay? Because a lot of times when it comes to missing and murdered Black women, we're often blamed for the things that literally we did not provoke. Not like we didn't ask for this, okay? And we're blamed for our own murders and missing cases, and that's all I ask, even though we don't know the situation. And the only thing that I heard D.I. say in that live is allegedly this woman is a streetwalker, and he said he's familiar with her because they live in the same neighborhood, and oftentimes people give her things like clothes or loose cigarettes and stuff like that. When it comes to like streetwalkers and people who are into prostitution, like I get so many cases with Black women who are living that type of lifestyle that personally, I don't care that that's their lifestyle. Nobody should have a right to go up to them and abuse them or attack them. And I know, like, what I'm saying, that's only expected, like, if we're living in a perfect world, right? And we got to understand that when we get involved in certain types of work, whether we're getting involved with illegal activities or honest work, we have to be aware of the dangers that we put ourselves in or the risks that we take. I get that, but still, I still feel like it's my right or my duty to cover those cases because, like, I don't know if y'all seen that. Who was it? It was R. Kelly. I think it was the first docu-series that they did on R. Kelly. Charlamagne the God. The one thing that Charlamagne the God said when he was on that docu-series, and I found it creepy, and I don't think anybody else picked up on it, was the fact that he said, if you would like to get away with S-word type of crimes, he said you go and you get yourself a Black woman or a Black girl. That's how you get away with them. And put that in the chat. Let me know what y'all think about that comment. Because Charlamagne said that in that first docu-series about R. Kelly. He said nobody cares about black women and girls. And if you want to get away with S-word abuse towards women, he said target black women and girls. That's literally what he said, y'all. Okay?
Yes, he
And what
did. And
makes it, you remember him saying that, Sim?
oh yeah, yeah. I follow Charlamagne a
Yeah,
lot.
and so I always try to keep my when I hear people comment stuff, I always try to cite when and where I heard it from, okay? Because a lot of times people think you're making stuff up. Yes, Queen Riri, thank you. Queen Riri literally snatched the words out of my mouth. I love the women who come over here and view and watch my channel because they
Yes,
literally
he
can
is.
read my mind. And so Queen Riri says Charlamagne is an abuser too, and I was just
Mm-hmm.
about to hit on that because I was going to do like a video covering not just Charlamagne, but how often black women and children are targeted in these types of crimes and how it goes uncovered. And I was going to include that little excerpt from the R. Kelly's docu series to prove that these are how these predators think. Okay, so
Yes,
you
but
know,
I will say that one thing I can say, because I'm the type of person, I have to look at the whole dynamic of it all when it comes to certain things. And when one thing about Charlamagne, and the reason why I say I follow him is because this is the dynamic that we working with. And one
mhm,
thing I know about Charlamagne from what I've like not know because I don't know him personally, but what I've known from following him is he seeks well at one point he was seeking the hype. So whatever he could say to trigger somebody's intention, like the pique somebody's interest, he'd say those things. But the thing about it is if you really, really think about it, what he was saying was how basically how society has us viewed right now as black women. Like if you do want to get away with it, doing it, I mean, just look at the facts and take out feelings.
mhm,
If it was the opposite, if it was a bunch of other type of women in there
mhm,
involved in there, it wouldn't have had lasted as long as it did.
mhm,
And it wouldn't have been as many. Let's just be honest. And
right.
and Charlemagne is he got a background, that's for sure. But
Yes, and somebody else brought that to my attention because I don't know if y'all remember, but around the time of the first R. Kelly docu-series, I believe it was early 2019, everybody was questioning. I think John Legend was in the first docu-series as well, but they were really questioning like, why is Charlemagne in that? And why is Wendy Williams in that or whatever? And they literally dug. See, you have to be careful of the kind of life you lead and how you judge other people because people put up all the receipts on Charlemagne. They
oh
say the
yeah.
so
But you know what? And he speaks about it himself in his book in
mhm,
either his in his books and in his interviews. But one thing I can honestly say is that when when you have to get right with God, you got to get right with God because for the longest he claimed the 1%ers for the
mhm,
longest. But if you listen to him now, homeboy done had a whole new switch up, and he done been shot up, everything. But the thing is you gotta think about, and I won't say karma because I don't always put stuff on karma. I think that it's certain things that certain situations you have to go to have a shift in the way that you think and the way that you carry
mhm,
yourself. Because if you don't have those shifts, you think you become more than the creator, and that puts you in a whole another realm. So now he's singing a new tune, and it ain't even because of his case, because he still was doing stuff after his stuff happened. He still was doing stuff, but I don't know what happened, but something changed within that part that probably scared him to pieces. And it could have been that he had a daughter himself. Because I think
right.
he got two girls, if I'm not mistaken. But anyway, I don't know. This is crazy.
Yeah, it is crazy. And, like I said, this is how a lot of people get away with S word abuses because they feel like if you do this to a black woman or a black girl, nobody cares about us. Like I was saying earlier how like I was talking to a few people earlier, and I was saying how, you know, most of these cases concerning Black women and girls, they barely make the local news, let alone national news. Okay. And I come across so many of these cases. Shout out to Rosalind Page with Black Femicide US. I was just talking to them on their platform because there's more than one woman who runs Black Femicide US. And I was just talking to them on their platform, and I was telling them, like, damn, I cannot keep up with y'all. Black women are being slaughtered at such a rate that me as a vlogger, I told them, I said, once I drop one video, okay, I have, I think somewhere around 130 videos on this channel. Once I drop one of those videos, Black Femicide literally posts damn near 10 more cases, murder cases of Black women. So just take 130 and times it by 10, and you can imagine how many Black women are being slaughtered. Okay. And I can't keep up with them. Like I said it in a live just the other day, the late night live that we did, that I have, like, I try to catch all of these cases. I want everybody's name to be remembered or whatever. So my backlogs are just crammed with cases. Okay. That's why most of the time when I run this channel or whatever, like y'all, like, I can't even get started on how much stuff that I have in the backlogs that I want to put out on this channel. I have S-word abuse cases. I have stuff about hey, what's up, Miss Callie? That's my girl at a bag of pearls. But I have so much stuff in the backlogs. Okay. You just about everything that's going on. Okay, so guys, I heard back from D Ice, and he said that he is still in the mayor's office, and he is taking care of business in the mayor's office, and he is going to be with me later on tonight about this case. I'm going to try to see what time he can come on with me and kind of tell me his side of things. I want to know about whether or not if he spoke to this victim. Again, they're not releasing her name at this time, which is okay with me because I feel like she needs her privacy. She doesn't need people berating her for a story when she needs to be healing. And S-word abuse and attacks like this, I'm telling y'all, she's gonna go through some stuff. She if she hasn't already developed post-traumatic stress disorder, she's definitely going to deal with that. She's definitely going to have like a mental break. I really can't even describe what I went through when I went through that. And I went through it as a teenager. Okay. I went through it as a teenager, and I shared my story on Olivia's channel or whatever. But basically, in a nutshell, like, first time I was S-word abused, I was 5 or 6 years old. It was by some boy in my neighborhood, and I didn't know what was happening to me. Okay. But literally, when I tried to, when I went like to my mother, basically I was being blamed for, because my mom thought I had done something wrong. But now that I'm a grown woman, I always want to go back and ask my mom, like, did you ever think to, like, even if I was the one in the wrong, did you ever think to ask me where I learned that from? You know, but I didn't know anything about sex at the time. I did not know anything about that. I was 5 and 6. I was out, you know, playing in my backyard, minding my business, and this boy came over the fence and S-word assaulted me. Okay. And I literally felt very uncomfortable with my body. I felt nasty. I felt low. And I was at 5 or 6, but I couldn't even describe what I was feeling because everything was new to me. It was just an off feeling. That's all I remember. It was an off feeling. Then at 15, a boy that I knew very well, it wasn't just some old anybody, but I was about 15. He was 16. He offered to take me to see a movie. I forget the movie that was playing at the time, but this happened around August of 2002. Okay. I still remember the date. I remember how the weather looked. I remember even what I had on. Okay. He came to pick me up to take me to the movies and all. Okay. But he didn't take me to the movies. He took me to a rough side of town. And once we pulled up on this house, it wasn't an abandoned house, but it was a house where, like, the whoever was owning or renting that house, they were never there. Okay. So that's why I said, like, the one thing that I do agree with that D.I. said in his live is he said we need to do something about the abandoned properties in these neighborhoods, because that's where a lot of this stuff goes down. Okay. But the house that I was taken to it wasn't abandoned. You could tell it was lived in, but the people who lived in it probably just let those teenage boys do whatever they wanted to. So he brought me to this house, and it was 2 or 3 other teenage boys there. They were all older than me, maybe 2 or 3 years older than me. They took my clothes. I still remember the phone, the kind of phone I had, y'all. I had like a Nokia type of phone. They took my phone, they took my shoes, they took my clothes, and I was scared. And they basically began to punch me and beat up on me like I was a boy. And they forced me to do acts that I did not want to do. And they basically told me if I didn't go along with it, they would take my life. They would do other heinous things to me. And I remember walking home, and I remember because after that ordeal, obviously they treated me like I was a $2 whore. Like I had called that on myself, okay? And I did not call it on myself, okay? And went walking home because the boy made me walk home. And I remember the whole way home, I was just mentally broken. And I know what I'm about to say next is scary, but it's true. And the reason why I'm saying that is so that y'all can gauge the mind of the S word abuse victim. Had I had a firearm, I would have been under the prison for what they did to me. Okay? I would have been under the prison because there are so many emotions that go through you when these things happen to you, when people take something so dear to you, your own body, your own flesh, and they do what they want with it. They assault you like that. And so I remember walking home, and when I got to my grandmother's house, I remember everybody looking at me, and that traumatic situation that happened to me at 5 and 6, it all came flooded back. So when I began to look at my grandmother, I thought that my grandmother would see me how my mother did at 5 and 6. I thought she would blame me for that act. Okay. So I ran in the basement out of shame, and I balled up in the fetal position, and I wouldn't come out of that basement, y'all. Y'all got to excuse me. I'm trying not to break up crying and telling this story because it's something that I have suppressed for a very long time. Okay. It's something that I have suppressed for a very long time. But I remember being in that fetal position and not able to look at anything. I didn't want to look at myself. I didn't want to look at anything around me. I felt like trash. Okay. And I just pray that woman, I pray that she has a strong, positive support system around her. I pray that D-Ice not only called the police, but I pray that he checked in on her. Okay. I pray that somebody followed up with her and said, hey, are you doing okay? Do you need anything? Because she's going to need counseling. She's going to need to learn how to positively and a healthy way manage her emotions, because you go through so many emotions after you have something like that happen to you. Okay. You go through so many emotions. You start to concoct because it's almost like I was saying in the live the other day. For those of y'all who wasn't here, I was going over the Kubler-Ross stages of grief. Okay. And when you go through the Kubler-Ross stages of grief, there's the bargaining, there's acceptance and hope, there's anger. I spend a lot of time angry. I spend a lot of time wanting revenge for what happened to me. Okay. And that happened to me. I was 15. Okay. It wasn't until almost 20 years, I wouldn't say 20, maybe close to like 15, 16 years later, that one of the boys who took a part in that, okay, like I was saying on Olivia's channel, one of the boys who took a part in that, he's a man now, and y'all, he has 2 daughters. So I don't think his apology was genuine. Okay. So he comes back to me every few months, like every 6 months to a year. And if he can get a hold of me, he will break down and apologize. Now, to me, it's not genuine because I know you have 2 daughters, and I know in the community where I'm from, everybody believes what you do to women or men when you're younger. If you end up, like, for example, if you're a man and you used to womanize or abuse women and you have daughters, a lot of people where I'm from believe that what you did to those women are going to happen to your daughters. Okay. So I believe he's apologizing because he doesn't want that bad karma on his daughters. I don't want that for his daughters either, And another reason why I believe he apologizes all the time is because at the time that they S-word abused me, they did not know my father or the connections that certain members in my family at that time had. Now, I'm gonna reiterate what I said on Olivia's channel. These people are dead and gone. But at that time, my father had friends and people in the family who, if you told them something, they just made people disappear. Okay. Okay, these people are all dead and gone now, but I feel like he found that out or whatever, so he comes to kind of clear his conscience. And then, like, I wasn't able to say it on Olivia's channel, but people were assuming that I protected them because I didn't tell the police. I didn't tell the police because, again, I associated the trauma at 15 with the things that happened to me at 5 and 6, and I thought I would be blamed for it. It was not about protecting them. Okay, it was about protecting myself. I thought I would be blamed for it. I thought I had done something wrong. Okay, so just to give y'all an idea, that's kind of the mind of an S word abuse victim. That's the thoughts that you go through, and then it's the anger that comes with, some S word abuse victims. Not that I have anything against anybody in the LGBTQ community, but some S word abuse victims turn homosexual. Some of them are not really truly homosexual. Some of them turn that way because they end up hating the other sex. They end up hating the other gender for what happened to them. I've heard men, literally grown men, admit that, hey, I wasn't really, gay when I was living a gay lifestyle. I turned that way because of what happened to me in my youth. That's what made me turn that way. Okay. But before I go on with that, I'm going to read some of you guys' comments. So Queen Riri, she says, I'm sorry that happened to you at Black Women Aware. Thank you very much, Queen Riri. That means a lot to me. And she says, that's what's up, a fellow Chicagoan. Let's see what Robles said. And it's really messed up that all of this stuff is happening in Chicago, y'all. I was in love with Chicago when I was younger. Chicago was it just represented the city of the arts to me. Like back in the 90s, Queen Riri, Robles, are y'all from Chicago? If so, y'all can testify and y'all know that I'm not lying. Y'all remember Twista back in mid 90s and early 90s?
Oh, yes.
Twista was Chicago. He was underground. He was Midwest. Nobody mainstream knew who Twista was. You know what I'm saying? Nobody knew who. It was like a Midwest thing. We had our own music thanks to Chicago. A lot of talent. Like people, it frustrates me sometimes because I don't believe people give Chicago the credit that Chicago is due. People are always focusing on just R. Kelly or what's the other one? As we got into the 2000s, they focused on Kanye West. No, it's a lot of underground talent in Chicago. Okay, It really is. But let me read these comments. Okay. So Rose says the question is who will keep her. If you don't do research to get help, then most of the time you will so he says you will go left without getting help, especially in the city of Chicago. I agree with that. A lot of times, people are overlooked.
That's exactly what I was going to hit on, because it's a lot of, like, my personal experience. I'm an internalizer. Mm-hmm. So in order for me to share the things that I went through, it's like somebody would definitely have to be really close to me. In fact, my husband didn't know about some of this stuff until we got married and was trying to have a baby. And he found out in the doctor's office, and he looked at me like, you.
Yeah. And then like me, it's very hard. I still feel the shame from just even having to, because y'all don't understand, when you go through S word abuse, to even tell your story, you have to relive it. And so for me to tell my story, and again, y'all, your brain works by association. That's how I know so full and well how post-traumatic stress disorder works. I don't even have to read what the medical experts are saying. I know because I lived it, okay? My brain, every time I relive these experiences to tell people my stories, I literally go back to that 5-year-old child, or I would go back to that 15-year-old girl. And I literally still can feel what people, like, not to say I forgave my mother. Me and my mother have no beef. I understand at that time she probably did not know how to react to what my sister told her, because when I was 5 and the abuse happened, I did not tell her. One of my sisters found out because we were in the shed. The little boy took me in my mom's garden to a shed and he abused me there. Okay. And my sister came out looking for me. And when she seen what happened, she told my mom, but the way she worded it and told my mom, she told her like, okay, Candace was out in the shed doing something bad. You know what I mean? That's how she worded it to my mom. And the way my mom responded, it has forever made me feel like I did something wrong, even though I did not understand or I wasn't able to interpret what happened to me. Y'all see what I'm saying? So at 15, because of how it happened the first time at 5 and 6, I literally went into the basement and I balled up because I thought, here comes the punishment, here comes the corporal punishment, here comes all this stuff on me for something I literally did not provoke. I did not want to happen to me. Back when I was 14 and 15 years old, I was not a fast girl. Again, like I said on Miss Olivia's channel, I was the bookworm. Everybody in my home city and state, when they think about me, they will tell you, Candace hung out in them libraries. You know, Candace is a writer. Candace is a poet. Candace is a baker. They will tell you that because that's what I was known for. I wasn't being fast, because a lot of times black women are girls, and girls are, you know, they put that stereotype on us. Oh, you was being fast, or you wanted it, or you knew what you was doing. No, none of that was true for me, and neither one of those experiences. Okay, but let me get back to these comments. So Rue said, I'm sorry, Robles says, Riri, I grew up in Morgan Park off of 113th, okay, in Halstead, went to Finger High School, or I hope I'm pronouncing this right. I moved out okay, so you moved out and you moved into Will County. So are you still in Chicago, Ro? And then Roe also says, now if the story is big enough, then someone outside of Illinois would help her. I hope she does get help, but because that situation is probably so common in the Chicago area, I won't even just say Chicago, y'all. That's nationwide. Come on now. You know, it's not just Chicago, it's nationwide that this stuff is happening. I literally pulled up some stories, and I'm gonna read some of the titles concerning crime and abandoned houses. Okay, but let me go down here to Queen Riri. Queen Riri says, that's what's up, a fellow Chicagoan. The city is great outside of the hoods where all the crime happens. I definitely agree, Queen. I agree, Queen Riri, because I'm telling y'all, I was in love with Chicago growing up. I love the culinary. Like, I believe y'all have a culinary school that's a part of Chicago University. I went on a tour when I was back in high school. I loved everything about it. It was so full of Black culture, especially the arts, the acting, the music. Chicago was live, you know. So,
It
and I
still
feel
is.
like
I
it.
love Chicago.
Oh, especially that Garrett's popcorn. Please,
Mm-hmm.
yes. Garrett's popcorn
Yes.
is the shiznit.
We ride
Okay.
all the way down there
They
just
be
to get
trying to
some
shit
Garrett's
on
popcorn.
Chicago, and I hate that Chicago get that bad name as the shoot 'em up city. Chicago is not all bad, y'all. But
Yeah.
let me keep reading these comments. So Queen Riri says, we have enough people and resources right in Chicago to help. It's just that Black women don't get taken seriously when harmed. Not to mention our own men are doing this. I could not agree more. Most of the cases that I cover on blackwomenaware, the suspects or the predators or the people who were involved in it were Black men. And this, you know, what I find that sad, Queen Riri, with running this channel, what I've learned that when you bring those facts, like y'all can look down my channel and you can go search the stories yourselves. You can search the stories outside of Black Women Aware. Darion Burley, Tanisha Pugsley, Amber Butler, Cheyenne Miller, and her little girl Shania. When you search these stories, you will see that it's Black men behind this. So basically, what I'm telling y'all is I did not make these stories up. And Black men have some type of block in their head to where they don't want to acknowledge that when it comes to Black women, we don't really have to worry about people like Peyton Gentron, the little boy who he shot up that top supermarket in Buffalo, New York. We really don't have to worry about people like that. That's like the 10%. You know, that's 10% of what's going on in the Black community. The majority of the terrorists, according to Black women and children that are harming Black women and children, are Black men. And when you tell them that, they get completely on the defense. They don't want to face that fact. They get angry, and I'm like, why? When like nobody is making this up, and nobody's putting a gun to any of y'all's head and telling y'all to attack Black women and children. You know, Riri, the other night I had talked about a case, and I wanted to cover this case in a separate video, but I had talked about it in a live. Mariah Cunningham. Mariah Cunningham and her children were done so dirty, but by not one black man, but two. Mariah Cunningham was from Little Rock, Arkansas, and she was a single mother. She was 24 years old at the time. She took one of these men in because he had nowhere to go, and I like kind of jumped down black women's throats, and I'm like, you know what? Stop taking these men in. Don't support nobody who is an able body. I don't even give to panhandlers. If you able enough to sit in the hot sun, rain, and snow and hold a sign, you can hold a job. You know, I'm not giving you nothing. And I know that sounds cruel because people are always like, well, Candace, you don't know their story. I know they're able bodies. They're not disabled. And I've worked with disabled people for 5 years. And most of those disabled people got their asses up 5 days a week and still went to work with their physical and mental disabilities. So it's no excuse. You see what I'm saying? But yeah, Mariah Cunningham took a man in her home off the streets. He was hard on his times. You know, he wasn't doing so good or whatever. So she took him in, gave him a roof over his head, and he moved out eventually. But he got with his other brother, and they conspired to set her up and rob her. Okay, so when they came back to the house, she basically told them like, hey, I don't have all this money y'all think I have. You know what I'm saying? And who would rob a single mother thinking she has all this money and she really don't? But anywho, they robbed her, and because they didn't believe that she really had they believed that she had more money than what she said she did, right? And so what they did is they held her down. They I have to say it like this, you know, because of the YouTube bots, but they poked her children. Her children were 5 and 3 years old. They poked them as the mother was held down and had to watch her children getting poked to death. And then they decapitated both the children, okay, in front of the mother, and then they unalived the mother. Okay, these are black men doing this, and then tried to steal her car, but later had to abandon the car a block down from her house, from Mariah's house, because guess what, y'all? The power steering was going out in the car, so they couldn't turn the car. The power, you know, when the power steering goes out, the cars are hard to turn. So these are two stupid criminals. You won't go rob the kingpins and the dope boys. You gonna go attack a single mother who barely even has enough money to keep her car fixed and running properly. You gonna go and attack her, and not only attack her, but you attacked her children, decapitated her children in front of her, made her watch that. That's not evil. That's demonic. That's next level demonic. Okay. And then admitted to it later on. He had one of the brothers came out and admitted. Okay, so he's saying they letting us out at 3. I thought it was 2, so I'm gonna tell him because we're in 2 different time zones. Hold on, y'all. Just give me a minute.
Yeah, it's sad that that stuff is really going on and people don't take into consideration. But that goes to play about how drugs and mental uh, dysfunction going in our community and untreated. You know,
It's
we
not just
walk past and ride past them, and you know, a lot of times, you know, well, back in the day, I don't know. Just like they said, the younger kids don't, the younger crowd don't respect the older crowd like they used to. Um, it goes. There's no respect there. That respect is
right.
gone. There ain't no neighborhood no more. It's the hood,
I
and it's
feel
a
like
total difference.
I feel like black people been messed up since because some people believe we were already in America, some people believe we got off them boats. I think we've been fucked up since we got off them boats, you know, honestly speaking. I don't think there was ever a time history in the Black community where we ever had stable neighborhoods and stable environments. But now that we have access to more, I'm not saying we're not oppressed anymore, because we know we still face oppression. We still face racism and things like that, because look at the Buffalo, New York situation. But because we have access to more, we have more resources than our ancestors and our grandmothers and grandfathers. I feel like when you have access to more and you can do better, you should do better. I feel like too often the men in our neighborhoods and our communities, they like, for example, this is the best example I can give y'all. I see all the time on different social media platforms from different Black men this post, and it goes something like this. It says most of these kids go without a father because of a bitter baby mama. That's exactly what this post says, right? Not word for word, I'm just generalizing, right? So I said, well, me, if somebody is not letting me see my children, and I'm very close to my children, I said I would fight Lucifer himself to see my children. I would go down to Hades and fight to be with my children. Nobody's going to keep me away from my children, And they kept, like, the guy who posted it, the last guy who I seen who has shared that meme, he was basically going back and forth with me and dipping and dodging all. And I said it's no excuse. I said basically what it's come down to is y'all don't want to take responsibility and accountability, one, for your own actions or your own absence. Okay, you have to get to the point where you stop blaming everybody else, the white men, Black women, this circumstance, that circumstance. One thing that I've learned about being a single parent is there is no excuse. There is no excuse for us. We have to be at the doctor's appointments. We have to go to work. We have to attend to the children. We have to be there. We have to show up, because we know as single parents, when we don't show up, something we risk something huge happening, or we losing. You know what I'm saying? Like, for example, if I don't go to work every day, I don't get that money to pay the bills and keep a roof over my kids' heads. So we have to show up. So when you're telling somebody like that, oh, I can't see my kids because of the baby mama, but you're not going to get a lawyer, you're not going out here, and you know what I mean, it doesn't make sense to somebody like me, who I cannot use an excuse. I have to show up. Y'all see what I'm saying? So I like, when it comes to the men in these community, I feel like the sickness runs deep, and I've been in this area. I'm, for lack of better terms, I'm going to call it a BWE space. I've been in this area for what? Let me see, 5-6 years now. And it's the same regurgitated excuses over and over again. And I get tired of hearing them. And so, having studied all this stuff, the history, the psychology, the sociology behind all of this stuff, you can almost combat it, or you sometimes already know what they're going to say before they say it, because we see it so often. But let me read Riri's comments. So Riri says, I think we always been messed up people. Love. So I think you meant look at how Africa is underdeveloped and messed up still today, and how they treat women and children. Yeah, they treat women and children bad over there. They really do. And I heard the femicide rate in Africa is every 3 hours. But D Ice said he would like to go live with me later. He said he's still at the mayor's office. So I'm trying to figure out when he would go live. I did text him back. I'm just waiting on him to respond, okay, and tell me when he would like to go live, just so we can hear his side of things. Because honestly, I am happy that he stopped and he responded to this young woman's cries for help. I am happy about that, in the least. You know what I'm saying? Because from what I seen in that live, people were walking up and talking to D Ice as he's recording, and they were saying things like one person said that it's a house next door to this abandoned property. It's a house next door to this abandoned property, not on, because it's not the house to the right. So the house that she was in is to your left, and to the left of this house that she was in, it's another property, and they say that house is being lived in by a family, and they said it's children in that house who have been reporting that they heard a woman in that house screaming, right? And nobody did anything. Okay. And it wasn't until D Ice, like he said he was getting off the bus and he said he was walking down the street and he heard her and he stopped and he at least called the police. He said he wasn't going in the house because he's a man and he said he did not want to be associated with the crime. He didn't want the police showing up and thinking he had something to do with it. But also, from what I read, because I was on Black Femicide, because Black Femicide, they shared the post. It's what some of the women were saying. Y'all, I was kind of upset. I'm gonna be honest. Some of the comments that some of the women were saying on Black Femicide's post, I was kind of upset because it's like Black women are really not aware of the dangers that we seriously live in. So one woman said something like, she said, this was her exact words. She said she was annoyed that, because it was a woman in the video who was talking to D-Ice, and she said nobody would have cared about her. She said something along the lines about the victim, like nobody would have cared about her or something like that. And so the woman commented under the post, another Black woman commented and was like, why would she say that? I'm so annoyed at that. And I said, well, you shouldn't be annoyed. It should make you aware, because what she said was true. Nobody really cares when it's us, okay? That should wake you up to how serious this is. You shouldn't be annoyed. And then another Black woman was mad at D-Ice, and she was saying something along the lines of, why would he? Because D-Ice was mad about the whole situation with the abandoned houses, right? And he said because there are so many abandoned houses that predators in the neighborhood basically is like Candyland. They could snatch up anybody and hide them in those abandoned houses. So he was discussing the situation with the abandoned houses. And one commentator got on Black Femicide's post and was like, basically, because he was telling basically what D.I. said, it was like he was saying next time he knows not to chain his victims near the windows, because this victim, she was near the window and she was banging on the boards and screaming to get out. And he said next time he knows not to chain his victims near the windows. And I agree with that, because literally that's how criminal and suspect minds work. They learn. You literally can learn how to get away from with some shit, y'all, just by watching the TV. Right? All you got to do is turn on Investigation Discovery and Court TV. That's literally all you have to do. Turn on them documentaries, the murder documentaries, forensic files and all that, and you will know how to get away with not just a crime like this with kidnapping and S-word abusing somebody, but you will know how to get the fuck away with murder. They literally have a TV series with Viola Davis called How to Get Away with Murder. So that comment, you know, and a young lady got mad at me because I was telling her, like, what are you talking about? Because she said that D-Ice, when he said that the predator would know not to leave his victims near boarded up windows now. And she was like, why would he say that? He's giving him clues on how to get away with it next time. I said, dipshit, where the fuck have you been? What world are you living in? Motherfuckers literally watch TV. Y'all don't know how many, like back in the day, like, cause I do have we all got them little knuckleheads on our families who live that crime life. And some of them that I know who are heavily deep in that crime life, they literally sit around all day and watch ID, Investigation and Discovery, CNN. Because who's on those shows and they telling all about how they solve these murders? I don't know, detectives, scientists, coroner, the coroner's office, you know, doctors or whatever. They can tell you about how long it takes a corpse to decompose. If you basically burn a corpse, they could tell if the person was alive or deceased when you put the corpse in the fire, all that stuff. So these street boys are watching these shows. So I was asking her, where have you been in the last, I don't know how many years, because they've been knowing this. Like, you don't even have to watch these shows on how to get away with a crime. That's just common sense. Criminals learn how they're caught the first time. They learn how to get away with shit the second time. I know boosters, y'all. This is true shit. I know boosters, right, who know the best hours to get away with going in the stores and stealing shit. And it's because of how they got caught in their last boosting mission. Y'all don't know what boosting is. This is when you go in stores and you steal their goods and you sell them back on the street, right? So most of the kleptomaniacs that I know, the people who just are addicted to stealing, because stealing is just like selling drugs. It's fast money or whatever, and they know people are always going to be on hard times, and they're going to buy that shit from them, so it encourages them to keep doing it, right? So what some of the people I know who are habitual thieves, and they go in these stores and they boost, they literally would tell y'all out their own mouth, oh, okay, I know, for example, when I go into, I'm just gonna make up a name of a store, but I know when I go into Candace's cookie shop, I know not to watch out for this man because he's a loss prevention. They will tell y'all this shit. I know to watch them cameras. I know to watch the meters on the clothes or whatever, because some people back in the day, when they, like, before they start putting those meters on the clothes or whatever, they didn't know that the clothes had them little things on it and could detect or sound the alarm the minute you try to exit the store and you haven't paid for that merchandise. So what did they learn after they were arrested and tried? Oh, when I go back to the store next time, let me grab a screwdriver, okay, so I can pop those little meters off the clothes. So when I'm stealing them, you know what I'm saying? Thank you, Queen Riri. Queen Riri said you're absolutely right. Thank you. And instead of this young lady comprehending what I was saying, she instead wanted to go back and forth with me. So I said, look, I ain't got time for that shit. I just covered not one, not two, but 5 cases of different women and men even, of how they was all on social media putting out all of this bad juju, and it caught up with them. Okay, from social media. I said, I ain't about to go back and forth with you from something I fucking know. And I know this for a fact, okay? I've literally watched, and I be around criminals, not now, but back in the day. And I'm not saying I used to hang with them. They were just part of my family. You go to a family cookout, you go to, your Sunday dinner at grandma's house or whatever, and what are they talking about? And it's not everybody. It's the cousins and the family members who are doing these crimes. And what are they in? They in the weed circles. They at the spade tables. They drinking liquor. And what are they laughing at? I had boosters that not only was in my family, but they were friends of the family, and they laughing about how so and so got caught in the last heist. And when we go up to this store, when we go up to and I'm just making up names. The names gonna sound crazy, but I don't want to say the names of the store. I don't want to put those stores in my life. But when we go to let me just try to rhyme it with something. When we go to Lacey's, that clothing store, when we go to Lacey's, we're gonna make sure that this fat bitch, and this is how they would talk. This fat bitch who worked that second shift, she's not there anymore because that bitch watches us. And that man with the big ass glasses, or that fat man, he's their loss prevention. So we know not to go on his shift and boost. So that's what the fuck I was trying to tell her on Black Femicide's post, is what the fuck are you talking about, dipshit? Don't you think when he knew, when this predator was coming back upon this abandoned house, he knew when he seen the police surrounding that motherfucker? Because he still hasn't been caught yet. Okay, let me go down in these slides a little bit. Okay, because from the slides, they say he still has not been caught yet. Okay, look at that bottom sentence. No one is in custody. Okay, no one is in custody. That's because that predator went back and he possibly seen the police there and all the ambulance there. And he said, oh shit, let me just get the fuck up out of here. And he probably somewhere huddled up in somebody's alley, box, abandoned house somewhere. If he's on dope, he's smoking his shit. And he thinking to himself, next time when I catch somebody, I know not to leave that bitch near that boarded window. So instead of going off on D-Ice, because they was going off like, why the fuck did D-Ice say that in their life? Bitch, he was already thinking it. That's why you have nobody in custody. Look at that last sentence, y'all. It says no one is in custody. Okay? Why isn't anybody in custody? Again, the predator possibly went back. Okay? He possibly went back, seen all that hype or whatever, possibly seen all that hype on the news, because people do talk. Everybody's talking about this damn case right now. Seen all that shit and was probably like, oh shit, next time when I catch somebody, I'm going to make sure I cover my ass and they're not near a boarded window. Or what did I say about because I covered a rapist case that came to me out of the Bronx, New York. And this man had went into prison for raping and robbing women, and he got out and did the same goddamn thing. So I was coming to the conclusion that, one, these people cannot be rehabilitated. Two, they never stopped. And because we know, one, from their patterns, they can't really be rehabilitated. Two, they won't be stopped. Then what other way is it to go? Okay, I'm already on level 3. I'm raping people and I'm goddamn robbing them. What other way is it for me to go? I don't know. To level 4. What's level 4? Okay, if bitches want to keep snitching on me after I grape them and rob them, I'm going to start unaliving them. So it teaches them how to be better when they're arrested, because when they go to trial, what are they hearing in the trial? They're hearing everything that got them caught. Oh, I left fingerprints. Oh, I left sperm DNA. Oh, I left this or I left that. This rapist in Bronx, New York, y'all, he had went in like back in 2006, 2005 for rape and robbery. So when he did this recent rape and robbery, and he was wanted, and y'all can go down and watch the videos if y'all would like later on. They're very short. But when he did this recent one, okay, he had learned from his prior assaults on women that let me dress myself with a condom, because he had learned from his prior arrest. They can they can connect me to this abuse through my sperm DNA, okay, or through blood DNA or through saliva DNA, but they can connect me if I leave this down. So criminals learn like that. That's how they learn. They even, it's motherfuckers I know, y'all, who have been in prison and will tell you straight up, prison did not rehabilitate me. It made me a better criminal. So what the fuck was so wrong with D-Ice getting in that video and saying, God damn it, now he knows not to leave his victims near the windows? Because the predator, I'm telling y'all what I know, the predator was already thinking that. All D-Ice did was read the motherfucker's mind. And this woman was going off, and I was so angry because I am shocked. I am boggled at how ignorant some black women are to the criminal world. I feel like we should be well alert and aware. That's why there's a Black Women Aware, because there's so many black women who don't understand how people think and what's going through their heads and how people operate. Okay? Black women, from what I'm gathering, over the 5 years that I've been in the BWE space, I'm not a BWE channel. I always say that, but I've been in these spaces for about 5 years. Black women know right from wrong. They know what should happen and what shouldn't happen. Okay, just like, for example, the Kaylin Davidson case. I recently covered the Kaylin Davidson case, and one of the reasons why Kaylin Davidson and her adversary, Kimari Wright, one of the reasons why they got into it, because Kimari Wright ended up unaliving Kaylin Davidson, right? Allegedly, right? She ended up unaliving Kaylin Davidson. But one thing that Kaylin Davidson said in her live is, hey, Kimari was talking bad about children, and I felt that was wrong for her to talk bad about children, so I went after her, right? That's what she said. She said she was talking bad about children, so she went after her. We all know that whenever somebody involves children, innocent children, into arguments, okay, it's wrong. We should not involve the children. That's what we should not do. But people do it. Okay, so black women have not made that connection between, yeah, we know in a perfect world, nobody should be bringing children up in an argument. Nobody should be abusing children. We all know that. But motherfuckers is out here doing it. Okay, people are out here doing it. And I don't feel like a lot of black women have made the connection between the two. Okay, and it irritates my soul, because I'm like, damn, we are the first on the chopping block. I cover so many of these stories, y'all. I can't keep up. I cannot keep up. So at first, when I came on Black Women Aware, and I was angry. I was angry with some of the bigger content creators, because I could not figure out why they were not covering literally every murder that was happening in the every murder that was happening in the USA, right? I was so angry with these other content creators, but I literally owe them an apology. I'm not gonna name no names. I didn't name them now. We never had beef or anything or said words back and forth, but I literally was looking at certain content creators' content, and I was like, well, why did they share, for example, Lauren Smith Fields? Why did they share Lauren Smith Fields and not Treasure Hendricks? So I came in ignorant, thinking that, okay, maybe they didn't share Treasure Hendricks. Maybe they're just picking and choosing which story they want to share. And when I'm believing at the time, I'm like, all of them should be shared. Every black woman who has had something bad happen to her, all of these stories need to be shared so we can grow the awareness. That was my thinking at the time, okay? But now, now that I know that what I know, Okay, y'all, it's so many murders happening that you really can't keep up. And so you end up, when you searching for new cases to cover or whatever, you end up cherry picking. That's how bad it is, y'all. Black women, we're like a supermarket. You can literally pick which story, or not even a supermarket. That's not a good example. A library. You know how you go in the library and you pick which book you want to read? You know, that's how these crime cases is. I can literally go and pick which one. I can close my eyes and just dig in a, you know, cut up everybody's name, put it in a box and shuffle it around and pick which story I want to pick. That's how many murders are happening. Okay, that's how many are happening. That's how many. Once I get done with one story, it's literally damn near 10 more posted. And I can cherry pick which ones I want to share. But the problem that I run into on Black Women Aware is I want to cover everybody's story. I want to give everybody story some shine so that it's awareness brought about these cases, so that people are more alert. And when they go out in public, y'all are not too trusting of strangers. I don't want you to be too trusting of strangers. I don't want you to look at people and just because they look normal, okay, think they're normal or whatever. But y'all, it's deep, y'all. It really is. And it's just shocking to me when I read through those comments how, for lack of better terms, ignorant a lot of Black women are to the criminal mind and how crime works. You know, I just could not believe that. I couldn't believe it. You know what I'm saying? Could not believe it. And I've always had I guess I could say, an interest in crime and investigation for a long time. Let me share with y'all this very interesting story. Okay. When I was in my early 20s, I had an apartment, and the apartment was in, you know, it's my first damn apartment. I'm just starting out. I'm in college and all. And this apartment, it was affordable. So, you know, obviously, if I'm saying it was affordable, y'all know it wasn't in such a good neighborhood, right? And I had, back in those days, the Wii was the popular thing. I think Xbox 360 had just came out. And I'm not really a gamer, but while I was interested in those devices was because they had like systems, I forget what it's called, to where you could work out and you could do the games and it would keep you active, right? So I bought those, and I bought myself a flat screen TV. And one day I came home from work and school, and my house had been robbed. Now, one thing about me is I hate thieves. I really, with a passion, hate thieves, especially when you work so hard for something and you come home and your shit is just gone. You know, somebody just took it up on themselves. They had the audacity to enter my home. You know what I'm saying? Just walk up in it like they paying the rent or something, right? So I was irritated. And I remember turning in my keys, because I was, by that time I was on a month-to-month lease anyways, and I was getting ready to move out that apartment, but I wasn't comfortable living there. I still had 2 weeks left in that apartment, and I remember I went to go stay with my godmom, and the whole time that I was with her, I couldn't sleep because I was so angry that somebody went in my apartment, right? Just angry. I was on 10. So I took these boxes. I found a whole bunch of old U-Haul moving boxes, and I taped them up and I put them in the back of my car, right? And I came up with this plan. I said, I'm going to go out into that neighborhood and I'm going to find out who the fuck robbed my goddamn apartment, right? So had these boxes taped up in the back seat, and I'm pretty much an introvert. I'm like a person who moves in the shadows. You will never see me, okay? You will never see me. Okay, so I had been living in that apartment that whole time and really never mingle with the neighbors or anything, right? So again, like went out into this neighborhood, and I had these empty taped up boxes with shit like kitchen, bathroom written on them, living room written on them. And I was driving around the neighborhood, and I stopped and I seen these guys, and I was just asking different guys, because I knew automatically ain't nobody but a nigga did this. Let's just be honest. A nigga did this. Ain't no female went up in my house, right? And not only that, but I forgot to add in that I knew it was one person, because the day that I came home from work and I found the house had been robbed, I called the police. And one of the things that the police put me up on was, like, after they did their little fingerprint and shit, I just knew that I knew that they were not going to further investigate. I just knew how they was acting. But the one thing that they put me up on game with is they said, Candace, we know it was one person because you have a really nice desktop computer, and had it been two people, they would have got that too. because y'all know desktop computers, they have the huge monitors and they have the huge hard drives. Okay, I don't know how they are now because I haven't bought a desktop computer in years, but they have those huge hard drives and the huge monitors, and it will literally take two people to carry all that shit, right? So the cop did tell me that. He was like, it was one person who did this, right? So I'm in this community. I got these taped up boxes in my back seat, and I'm driving around. And I'm asking all the little boys, the men that are standing around. I'm like, do y'all know anybody that sell electronics? Because I'm new here, and I really need some electronics for my new apartment. And I'm just going on and on and on, right? And so eventually I come up on this one guy, and he's like, yeah, I know somebody. And so I'm like, okay, can you put me in contact with him so I can buy the electronics? And guess what, y'all? It turned out to be the best friend of the burglar who had robbed my apartment. Okay. And so it gets more interesting. So I told him, because I'm like, you know what? I'm so interested. Like, I acted so giddy and happy. And I'm like, oh my God, this is so exciting. Go ahead, call him up. I'll buy the shit from him and all. And he calls up this guy, right? So I am literally in the apartment complex on the phone with the guy who had robbed my apartment. He didn't know it was me. He thinking I'm somebody who wants to buy this shit off of him, right? So we agreed to meet up, and what I find out is his sister lives out in an apartment complex. He lives with his sister, like bummy niggas do. And so he's like, can you wait at the sister's house, or can you meet me over there or whatever? And I'll show you the shit. So I'm thinking, okay, I'm gonna go over there, and once I see my shit, I'm calling the police, right? Calling the police, get everybody in this motherfucker arrested because I'm just that mad. I had renter's insurance and all, but I didn't care. The only thing that was running through my mind was, I don't like it when people steal from me, right? That was the only thing I was thinking at that time, you know. So I get over into this apartment, and I see all of my flat screen TV, both of the game systems sitting in this living room, and I could tell the TV is mine because like it was a newer flat screen, but I had a bad habit of like sitting. I don't know. Do y'all remember incense? You know who still uses incense? I had an incense, and I lit an incense one day, and incense burnt on one part of the TV, and I seen the burnt mark when I walked in and seen that flat screen, so I knew it was my TV, right? So I told the guy, I'm literally talking to this burglar, and he doesn't know that that's my shit, and I'm the person he robbed. So I told the guy, I said, you know what? I said, you just wait here. I said, how much do you want for this shit? And he said 600. And you know, immediately I'm like, one, this shit is not even worth $600. But so that he won't sell my shit to nobody else, I'm like, fuck 600, man. I'll give you 750, right? I'm finna go to the bank right now. I'm acting giddy, like I'm all excited and shit, and don't got no street knowledge. You know, I'm acting real bookwormy. So he's like, cool, I'll hold it for you. I'll get everything ready. So while you're at the ATM, you know, I have everything ready to get in the car when you come back. So y'all, I really go down to the police department. I come back with two damn detectives. And by the time I come back, not only did I have two detectives, but I had some of the Goonies in the family with me, and got I think, yeah, I got the sister brought up on charges because it was her apartment. I got the brother locked up. I pressed charges against both of them, and got them locked up or whatever. So basically what I'm saying is I have a very creative mind, and I've always been like this person who is all about fairness and justice. Now, when the cops came, of course, they were not happy with me, but I feel like they were not happy with me because I made their asses look bad. A little 21, 22-year-old girl who basically solved her own robbery, and you dumb dipshits couldn't solve it. So I think that's why they were mad, you know, but they made it seem like they were mad at me because they said, you could have gotten hurt, anything could have happened to you. And granted, you know, looking back, they were telling the truth. Anything could have happened to me, right? I don't deny that, you know. Now looking back, and now that I'm older, I probably wouldn't do no shit like that. I probably would just file it under the renter's insurance. But deep down, because I read energies very well, y'all. Deep down, I know that them cops was mad because I shamed the whole fucking police department. Okay, I literally made all their asses look bad that day. Okay, so let me check and see if the ice has written me back. Okay, just give me a minute, y'all. Because yeah, this is the time that he confirmed with me, and I guess he said that the meeting with the mayor's office went over, and he said that he would get back to me later. I'm still trying to figure out when is later, because that's originally why I got on here, was to speak with him and to give him, his thank yous for just not ignoring that lady's calls for help, you know, for not ignoring, like, the majority of the video he was going over um about the abandoned properties or whatever. And I agree, something does need to happen about the abandoned properties, but that's his own separate project. Right now, I'm just concerned about the lady who was found in this abandoned property and how she's doing. Okay. Um, so, yeah. So, he has not gotten back to me yet. I'm still going to keep you all updated because I did reach out to him rather. Okay. So he says they letting us out at 3 p.m. And mind y'all, we are in different time zones, me and D Ice. We're in different time zones, okay? So yeah, so he has not gotten back to me yet, y'all. He said he was at the mayor's office talking about the case or whatever. Um, and I hate to put this out here, but I feel like it is my duty to, and I don't know if this is true or not or whatever, but it's already a lot of speculation going on because he's a black man, and a lot of people in BWE spaces, whenever it's a black man doing something for black women, you want to rule out pandering. I'm not saying people are just all right saying he's pandering, but you want to rule out that. You want to rule out, hey, let's make sure you're not doing this to, yeah, you deserve to be thanked, because a lot of people would have ignored her like they were doing. They were ignoring her and they were going on about their business, and he didn't. So I believe he still deserves his flowers for that. I'm not in a position to say if anybody is pandering, though. I don't have any proof of that. Okay, so I'm not going to say that. But my concern at this time is just that woman. I do know she is of age. She's an adult, but I don't know if like how she's doing. They haven't released her name, and again, even if they did, I wouldn't uh try to contact her, because she's gonna need some time to get over this, y'all. Who we really need to be focused on, though, is the suspect. That's the ice in that photo there. But who we really need to be focused on is the suspect, because, again, according to this article, it says nobody is in custody. And what's frustrating is, like, I understand when you're in the heat of a situation, you're not thinking completely in your right mind. You're just like, especially when that adrenaline rush hits you and you realize that you're in a really serious situation. And I'm basically putting myself in D Ice's shoes, because he did say that he saw the suspect walking away from that abandoned property. And a lot of people were commenting, like, why didn't you go after him and all this other. I just want to say, look, y'all, if y'all have never been in life threatening situations or in situations like that where you're in the presence of somebody dangerous, I wouldn't have pursued him either. I probably would have called and did the same thing and just gave his description. But again, I'm speaking from the perspective of a woman as well. You know what I mean? I'm a woman. I ain't finna go pursue no damn man and you just chained and shackled somebody up. I get what they're saying, man on man. Like, yeah, maybe you should have pursued them. But again, you don't know what somebody is carrying on them. You don't know what the fuck people are capable of nowadays. People are unaliving people just for simple shit over card games. Okay. So I probably wouldn't have went up to him either. I just wish that they had caught him. The police did, like you can actively see in that live video. And I'll probably make it public in a little bit because I did upload it to my channel, but I privatized it. Okay. But you can see the police in that video. Like once D Ice gives the description of the suspect, you can see them bag up and go and pursue him in the way or the direction they thought he left in. So you do see that, okay? But yeah, so he's saying he will get back to me later about the time. He hasn't responded yet to because I asked him maybe if he could get on here with me in an hour. Um, so he says they're letting them out at 3 p.m. his time and he thought it was at 2. And I said, yeah, it was at 2, but 2 o'clock his time, because he's on Central Time. Okay, I'm not on Central Time. So we're not in the same time zones. I believe one of us is hour ahead or hour after the other person. Okay. So yeah, once I get some time, I will contact him again, because yes, guys, I'm not pulling your legs. I really did contact him. And one of the reasons why I privatized that live is because he was giving out too much personal identifying information in that live, and I did not want to share that because I believe that is a form of doxing. So that's why I privatized the video, and I was not going to release it or make it public until I heard from him and got his okay that it was okay to publicize that video. Okay, but I do have it up. Okay, I do have that video up. All right, but since I haven't heard back from him, like I'll update you all in my community wall once he contacts me back and see what he wants to do. Okay. So Rose says the only way I think maybe they could have caught the person is to wait until he came back. Right. Right. Some of these situations, like I gave with my robbery situation, how I kind of planned that shit out. I didn't just come home and after the cops left, I didn't make a big scene. I didn't go out there yelling and cussing and shit. I left the complex. I went to stay with my godmother and I hid in the shadows, in other words, and I planned my next moves. So I agree with Rose. Sometimes you have to just sit in on the low in the shadows and wait till the person comes back. And the minute you see him coming near that property, probably not just only call the police, but hell, take some pictures. We living in the age of AI. This is the robot age. You know what I'm saying? This is the age where you got cameras every fucking where. So Rose says if he thought she was still there, he would have come back. Right. I definitely agree with that. Then not only that, not only do I agree with that, but I also believe because this story is starting to gain a lot of attention. Okay, and I believe that the suspect probably seen that it was gaining a lot of attention and was like, okay, fuck her. I can find another victim. I'm gonna save my own ass and I'm gonna get up out of here. Because y'all can see from this picture, and when you watch the live, D Ice takes the camera and he whirls it around and he goes up and down, and you can see all these different abandoned houses on this block. So this house on the left is the house that she was found in, and the house on the right, they're saying that one is abandoned as well. And so D Ice was talking about the abandoned houses in Chicago, but hold up though. There's Gary, Indiana. There's Detroit. It's a lot of abandoned properties up there too. Gary, I wouldn't touch with a 10-foot fucking pole, 100-foot pole, 1,000-foot pole. Hell, if I had to go through Gary to get somewhere else, and gas is high right now. I still wouldn't give a fuck. I would go the fuck around Gary. Because Gary is like a little war zone. Gary really doesn't have any jobs there. It's not a lot going on in Gary, okay? It's not a lot going on in Gary. And you just talking about abandoned properties. Hell, Gary got abandoned buildings, all that shit, all up there, okay? I dropped my damn charger, y'all. But yeah, Gary is really fucked up. You know, and he was D Ice was just talking about Chicago in his live video, but what other cities can y'all think of? Because I'm thinking about Detroit. I'm thinking about not only Detroit but Gary. New Orleans is real fucked up, especially after Hurricane Katrina, and that's another city that I love. Chicago and New Orleans, when it comes to predominantly black places, those are two of the cities that I fell in love with because of the culture. We have so much culture there. Chicago because of the creativity and the arts. I was an artsy person. Memphis, Tennessee, yes, Ro hit it the nail on the head. Memphis, Tennessee is definitely y'all back. Y'all remember First 48? Do anybody remember First 48? Okay. Okay, so Rose says Memphis is not the same at all anymore. Man, I don't know how I didn't think about Memphis. Memphis, my son's father used to travel a lot to Memphis back in the day. Okay, so I remember I had just had our child, okay, and this is almost 20 years ago. I had just had our child, and I don't know why I was thinking this, because my father literally always taught me, let men come to you, don't go to them. But I wanted to take the baby. I hadn't been anywhere. I've been carrying the baby for 9 months, and I had the child and everything. I literally had been in the house and had been going to school when I was expecting my son. So I wanted to get out. I wanted to do like a little road trip, and I wanted to take our son down there to see his father. And he literally, like, he talked to me, y'all. The way he talked to me, I knew he wasn't playing. And he was like, do not bring him down here. And he kept saying it. And he said it in a real serious tone. Like, do not bring him down here. Like, I don't give a damn how much you need to go get out the house, or you want to take a road trip or what. Go somewhere else, but don't bring him down here. And he said it to me like, he spoke to me not even like my child's father. He spoke to me like he was my father when he told me that, because at that time, and this was what, 2004, 2005, 2006, around there somewhere. That's when First 48 was really popping, and they was focusing mostly on cities like Memphis. But Memphis, y'all, I heard is a war zone as well. Okay. New Orleans, what I'm hearing about with New Orleans is the carjackings and the murders are bad there. And I seen an article about three black kids, three black little boys who were murdered. And not only were they murdered, but they had to do the funeral. It was weird how they did the funeral. Like, they had to hide the coffins behind something because they were scared people was going to show up and start spraying the funeral or start shooting up the funeral. They were scared of stuff like that, so they like hid the coffins. So it was a real privatized funeral, and even certain family members didn't know about this funeral because, and look, it's three brothers, y'all. The three brothers all died within days of each other. So if you Google New Orleans and the three brother murders, you ought to be able to pull up what I'm talking about. But they hid their funerals. Okay, it was real creepy, like. Okay, so it's stuff going on everywhere. Is anybody hearing a lot about Houston? Because I'm starting to hear a lot about Houston for some reason. But I don't think Houston is as bad as Gary, Indiana, or even I think Saginaw, Michigan. I think Saginaw is right outside of Detroit. I hear a lot about Saginaw, Gary, Detroit, Memphis. Where else? Brooklyn, I know Brooklyn, they have their parts where it's some bad neighborhoods, but I don't think Brooklyn even is as bad as some of these other places. Baltimore, I get a lot of cases that come out of Baltimore. Where else? Inglewood. What do y'all think about Inglewood? Yeah, Rose said we telling our age. Don't do that. Yeah, we getting up there, man. I'm old as shit.
No, yeah, you're right. You are.
That shut up, Sid. Look, I almost told your age.
You see, I'm quiet. When you get to talking
I
about that, I was
girl,
like,
I'm starting to even think like an old person. That's what's messed up. I be talking to y'all know how the old people used to talk to us back in the day, especially about the music we listen to. That ain't no real music. You don't know real
what?
music,
You don't even know what is that? It's to the
man.
point now. It's just like, when they listen to music, I'm like, oh my god, my head just can't take it.
All
It's
right,
so
I can't
much.
get with none of these new artists. I'm sorry. I be having Tupac on repeat. I'm like, this is real rap music right here. Tupac, Biggie.
You done put on the 2 5,
Man,
girl.
shoot. I
Oh
even went,
Lord,
this is shameful. I shouldn't admit this. I should
go
not
ahead,
admit this.
go
Look, you
ahead, get it
said
out
go
there.
ahead. Girl, I even was playing Will Smith. Will Smith, right? Y'all know Will
Parents just
Smith.
don't understand.
Girl, I was playing the two of us.
Oh
Girl, I was
shoot.
blasting that for a
Look,
couple
hold on.
weeks.
I'm telling my age because I'm like, parents just don't understand.
Okay, girl,
Now that's way back.
Rose said we are not messed up. We are gaining wisdom. Come on, Ro. We ain't the bad
Hey,
ones out here. I knew something was fucked up with me the other day though, real talk, because I seen this meme and something was like, you don't know, like you old, you in your late 30s when you get up and your goddamn knees go out, and I was like, yeah, that's bullshit because I'm in my 30s and that shit ain't y'all. I woke up one morning trying to make some coffee and I was on the floor.
you just don't get up as fast. You just take your time. You learn that you're gonna get there
Girl,
regardless.
or you fuck around and think your ass is as quick as you used to be. Get to
Mm-mm.
tussling, get
I
to
don't think
messing up,
that I forget a whole lot of things, but I don't forget that.
girl. Shoot.
That's for sure.
Have y'all
I
ever had
don't
one of
have
these young kids call y'all old
no when they call you ma'am,
ma'am or old
and I
lady?
know it's out of
Girl?
respect or old head. Oh, old
Or
head.
I've been called old lady
OG.
before, and the dude better be happy he was more athletic than me because I tried to chase his ass down. The little kid, he wasn't even no grown man. He was a little kid talking about old lady. Pass us the ball. They was playing
Mm.
ball. We was in the park, and they lost control of the basketball. He said, "Pass us the ball, to old lady." I almost beat his ass in the head with that damn ball, but my aim ain't too damn good, you know. And then I ain't been going to the gym every day like I was supposed to, so I knew if I chased his ass down, he could outrun me,
I was gonna be a
you
wrap.
know. Or that
Mm-mm.
ma'am stuff. That ma'am stuff do get on my nerve. I be like, I
Yeah,
am
and
not
I
as
know it's out of respect, but it's just like, oh, it just hit a different way.
right,
Oh, I'll be like, oh, thank you, but yeah.
girl. Shoot, I ain't gonna even get on how my nieces and nephews, how they call me and how they talk to me like I'm
Oh,
an old grandma auntie. I'm like, I'm not even in my 40s yet.
oh yeah, they hit me with. How would you even know? How would you? You don't even understand what we go through. And I even start my conversations off like that. Like I could never understand what y'all go through. Like I started off like that. That's my story is like that's what a fat person. A fat person know they fat. You ain't gotta tell them they fat. You know what I'm saying? They see that
Girl,
every single day. So it's just like when she be like, or if they come to me, they're like, you don't even understand what we go through. I'm like, okay. I get
Miss
that
Callie,
100%, but you old.
Miss Callie, I do too. I listen to everything, but I don't be like I didn't. Now look, y'all gonna laugh at me, and I don't give a fuck. Laugh if it make your day a little easier. Laugh at me. I don't give a good goddamn. But I didn't know what the new terms meant, what the new slang meant. I didn't know what link meant. I didn't know what some of the other new terms.
Girl,
That
hold
they be
on.
saying link. I didn't
Uh
know what that meant. I didn't know
oh
what
no, the you
OPP
thought you
was.
ate.
Or
You
you
thought you
thought you
ate.
ate. Yeah,
Oh
I didn't know.
yeah.
It's something else that was on the tip of my damn tongue.
And I
And
know
they be
everybody can
saying, I didn't know what none of that shit meant.
look, this is
Link.
the one that get me, and it's nothing towards the community of whatever the community is. I'm not up on that. But it's just like the they. Now I'm having a conversation with my niece and she talking about her friend and she keeps saying they. And I'm like, who is they? Who is they? She like, well, and then she'll say one person's name. I'm like, okay, I'll let her continue. I'm listening. And she's steady saying they. And I'm like, well, who else? You name on one person, but you saying they. And she was like, well, she identifies as they. And I'm like, okay. So she identifies as they. I said, do you know how many times I took grammar? Even in college, I took first grammar 101 just to make sure that I have everything right in my writing, and then y'all gonna flip it up on me? I'm like, no, we
I
can't
don't
have that
understand those. I
conversation.
don't stand all them terms either. But like, I don't be like whatever they want to be identified by. They want to be identified by. But I feel like this. Just don't get mad when
Exactly.
you know what I'm saying? If you look like a female and you don't be mad when I call you her. Cause I can't read your goddamn mind. I don't know what the fuck you want to be. You know what I'm saying? That's just like me telling the world I'm a vicious ass koala bear, like Cat Williams said. I'm a vicious ass koala bear. And you know, shit, how the fuck the world know I want to be a vicious ass koala bear? You know? How the world know? They don't know that. So they if they look at a woman and they see a woman, they're gonna call me a woman or she or her. I don't have nothing against the way nobody live their life, but I tends to leave LGBTQ stuff alone. I don't
Me too.
understand. You know, I don't
And
understand
it's not that it's like I respect everybody's I respect anybody and their decisions. I respect it 100%. Even like
right.
you had made a comment about abortions and everybody's views on that. Like I have my own view. I've had my own situations. So I totally understand where you was coming from that. But what makes it hard for me is when they get mad when you don't address what the things that they want you to how they want you to address it. But the thing is if you're going to live that life, my request is that be confident in that so that if somebody does make that statement, educate them. Educate them. Don't get mad. because the truth, like I can't remember what movie he said. The truth ain't angry. The truth ain't is a comedian. He said the truth ain't angry. The truth is not angry. So if you educate somebody, don't get mad, because if you come with aggression, people gonna come back with aggression. Educate me. Let me know what you're talking about so I can kind of understand where you're coming from. Don't get mad, because that's not gonna serve anybody's purpose, because I'm going to forget. And then you're gonna be missing out on sleep, and I'm gonna move
I
on.
just I just leave it at that. Like, however you live your life is however you live your life. I don't like really I don't even be studying. I'm be honest, I don't study nothing with LGBTQ. It ain't like if something happened to a woman and she had transitioned into a man or whatever, I wouldn't cover the case. No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is I don't understand it, so I leave it alone. You know what I mean? It ain't, that's just how I am about it. I don't really even like, I used to comment on some of the things, but I feel like some people, not even just in that community, I feel like in current days time, people are so fucking sensitive and they love to twist words and they love to misunderstand and assume. They don't like to ask questions on what somebody meant when they write something, okay? That it gets frustrating. It's draining to try to keep explaining yourself, especially over social media. You have to write these long ass posts explaining what you meant and what you didn't mean. And I just leave it alone. I don't really like. I don't even like talking about it because it's complicated for me, and I don't really want to. I just leave it alone. However you want to live, or however you want to be identified, or whatever. That's you. That's your life. But I tend to stay out of it. But hold on. So Rose says he's in his mid 40s. The body does a lot of changing. You have to think a little bit before you jump up from city to sleeping. Man, don't even get me started, Ro, because everything in my body be cracking when I start to stretch in the morning. Man, that scared me the other day. Like everything cracks. Have y'all had that in the morning where everything just
Mm,
goddamn cracks? I be mad as
yeah.
hell because I sure be thinking I'm still that young person. I still can move and keep up with people physically. But when you hear those cracking sounds in the morning, your bones and shit, that shit scare you because it's like the truth is sitting in. You getting old, goddamn it. You know,
Or when you stand up and that backbone get that pop, snap, crackle, and pop, and you be like, oh,
man. But
oh
yeah, I'm
Lord.
wondering who this guy is. I'm wondering who this suspect is. I'm wondering if he's a, like what do Not saying that y'all would know. I think Queen Riri probably. I don't know if Queen Riri is still here or not. But Ro, I know you said you from the Chicago area. I don't know if y'all know, but what do y'all think? Do y'all think that this guy is going to possibly attack again or go after another victim? What do y'all think is gonna happen? Do y'all think he's gonna lay low? You know, man, look, Ro. I mean, I don't know why I keep on calling you Ru. I'm thinking about somebody else. Ro, we not about to talk about Charlie horses. Those are the devil. Okay, those are. I wouldn't wish them motherfuckers on my worst fucking enemy. Charlie horse, you will repent for all your sins. Locked up in that cramped up ass position. Especially, don't let it hit Ro at 2 and 3 in the damn morning either. Don't let it hit at 2 and 3 in the morning and you in that good deep sleep, you comfortable in the bitch. I don't know if y'all sleep with y'all fan on, but I sleep with the fan on sometimes. Shit, you comfortable in a mug and that goddamn Charlie horse hit and it starts in slow and you try to roll your leg so that it don't come on full force, but the bitch come on full force as well. Oh my God. Or
What about
I've had it
in your
happen,
toes? You get them in your toes?
man. Look, look, I done had it happen while being intimate. I've had it happen in both of my fucking legs. Okay. And look, I ain't trying to get nasty, but look, on this channel, my channel is for adults only, but funny ass story. I literally was
You had to
with
flop on
my,
your stomach.
huh?
You had to flop on your stomach.
Man, no, I told him, I said, look, I said, get the hell off of me. I said, get up. And we had to stop everything. That stood like a starfish. I was spread out trying to stretch, and then he had to help me up. He was laughing his ass off. He had to help me up and walk my ass around. Shit, fucked up the whole vibe, man. It was messed up. It was messed up in both legs. And you know what people tell? Do people tell y'all to drink milk for Charlie horses? I've been told to drink milk, and I'm lactose intolerant. I don't really,
I was told pickle juice
pickle
or
juice,
mustard. Mm-hmm.
because it's a buildup of the lactic acid in your muscles, and you're supposed to drink something to get it to even out or some shit like that. And y'all, I'm shit. He said, Charlie horses, you didn't brought me back a whole bunch of bad memories. So Rose said, yep, and your children wake you from you screaming. Yes. So Rose said he heard that too, pickle juice. But yeah, I be screaming, I be gritting my teeth, I be gripping the damn covers and stuff, crying out the guy, repenting. I used to be thinking, like back in the day when I first got him, I used to think like, man, what did I do wrong, God? What I repent, whatever the hell I did. I repent, God, just take it off of me. Shit, them shits used to hurt. I seen this y'all, I seen this white boy in a video. He literally was calm as day and he had a Charlie horse and you could see his muscles contracted. Have you seen that video sent? It's old as
What
hell.
happened?
This young, he looked like he played sports or something. It was a white boy. And he recorded himself having a Charlie horse and he was just sitting there watching it. He wasn't reacting or nothing. And his muscle was literally gripping and you could see it contracting and relaxing and every damn thing. And I was like, ain't no way in hell, you know, ain't no way in hell I could have just sat there and took that. Yep. But let me see. I'm checking my phone, y'all.
Yeah, and on top of that, um, girl, my toes they ball up on me real quick, and
Yeah.
then I can't walk. I can't walk. I can't talk, and it just seems like why does it seem like every time you have a Charlie horse or something like that, a cramp, or your foot or leg fall asleep, the kids they come running right towards it, and you be saying no, 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 no. You could feel them touch it before they even get there. I'll be wanting to cry or punch, or well, not punch,
Man.
swing. I will swing because I'm like, no, just back up, don't touch, don't touch, don't touch.
No, I done had some crazy experiences with them Charlie houses, boy. But yeah, so Miss Callie said pickle juice or bananas, and I don't like neither one of those. You know,
Oh, potassium.
yeah, potassium.
I've heard mustard though, but I can't see myself doing that at all.
And shit. Not by itself, no. Not even the pickle juice. You know. But yeah, y'all. So I'm gonna be interviewing a bunch of interesting people later on this week. Um I don't know what happened to D Ice. I wasn't pulling y'all leg. I really did get in contact with him and I knew I had the right number and everything because he says who he is on his voicemail and I literally can match the voice up to the man in the video. And I know I had the right person. I did contact him and try to get him on the live so he could share with us everything that happened from before it happened to during and after and whether or not he has been in contact with this young lady. um I'm kind of curious, I ain't gonna lie, because I am kind of nosy. I'm kind of curious as to why he's talking to the mayor, you know like I'm thinking it has something to do with because he was on his live and he was saying how he wanted to do something with the abandoned houses in that area, but I'm just hoping. I'm like, has anybody, because let me see because from this article I think it did say she was released from the hospital. She was transported to a local hospital in good condition. Police neighbors have seen the woman in the neighborhood. Okay, but I thought it said that she had been released from the hospital. Okay, they're talking about his video and how it went viral. Okay, let me see. Um, the man went on Facebook Live. Okay, we got that. Woman was found in an abandoned house. Chicago officers were called to an abandoned home on 119th Street at Eagleston on Saturday. Said they found a 36-year-old woman. Okay, so she was 36 years old. Wow, 36 years old. neighbor. So he lives in that neighborhood. He said he was passing by and heard her calling for help. She was screaming help. Okay. I thought I seen somewhere that said that she was released from the hospital. Um, Maybe I misunderstood. But if she wasn't in serious condition and she was just there for monitoring, I'm pretty sure the hospital probably would have got her in touch with social services and released her. I don't believe, especially in a place as big as Chicago, I don't see the hospital holding her for long. I really don't, unless it was something mental going on with her. I don't know how it works in Chicago, but I know some hospitals, if you have something mental going on with you, they won't release you until you get checked out by a psychiatrist. So Rose says she's probably at Roseland Hospital. Yeah, the news said that. What did the news say, Ro? Because I think she had been released. Is that what you think? They said that she had been released. You know, and having worked at a hospital, me and Sim both have experience with working at hospitals, and unless it was something seriously wrong with her, as far as physical injuries, I don't think they would have kept her at the hospital, especially in a place as big as Chicago. I think they probably monitored her, probably did a rape kit, collected some stuff from her, documented that she was there, probably turned her over to social workers and possibly let her go. Okay, that's what I think happened. Um, what do you think, Sint? You think she's still in the hospital, or do you think she was discharged?
Um, she may still be there under surveillance. If this,
Mm-hmm.
well, you know what? If it happened Saturday, today is
Monday.
Monday. I think they have a 48-hour hold usually, um, depending depending on if there's room anywhere else to get a psychiatric eval. And then you have to get the doctor's follow up and discharge. That's usually about a 48-hour deal, especially something like that. Um, she may be discharged if she had family members or a support system that they got a hold to in the meantime, but
Mm-hmm.
probably still there under a different alias.
Mm-hmm. So Rose says, I hate to say this, but without insurance or limited insurance, they got her in and out. You don't have to hate to say what you believe is the truth over here, Ro. I can tell you from experience that a lot of times, depending on how the hospital is, if it's a nonprofit
I was
hospital,
about to say if it's a
yeah,
private hospital, definitely. But if it's
if
a
it's a
non,
privatized hospital, they definitely got her in and out. I don't know what kind of hospital Roseland Hospital is, but if it's a nonprofit, like Sint worked at a privatized hospital in her past. I worked at a nonprofit, and nonprofits. Sometimes I've seen patients with no insurance stay as much as 30 days, and I
yeah,
believe it has something to do with how much money they get from the state with those
yeah.
kind of cases. So it depends on what kind of house, what kind of. Can you look that up for me, please, Ro? If you uh can.
Especially with it being in Illinois, it
Yeah.
might be a little different. But me knowing the insurances the way that I know them, even if they had even if they had Medicaid or something like to that nature, they still wherever she went, they still have to meet quality measures before they send them home. They they lie about the quality measures, but that's neither here nor there. They have the timelines, and because there's been media involved, they gonna treat this. They usually treat those situations a little bit differently.
Okay. So hold on. I'm on their website. Um.
But I will add, those private hospitals will send those Medicaid patients or those certain insurances to a diff to the other hospitals because
Yeah.
they can't because they can. Now the
Yeah.
other hospitals cannot do that.
Yes, I've had that happen before in experience. I've had private hospitals because I worked for a nonprofit hospital, And nonprofits are usually like your Catholic based hospitals. I've had patients come over from other hospitals and be sent there from a privatized hospital, and it's because that nonprofit organization, they get certain grants and money from the government for taking in those cases. But and it's weird because hospitals, like a lot of people think the longer you stay in the hospital, the more money that you make. But I don't know for private hospital, but I know for nonprofit hospital, it's the absolute opposite. The longer you stay, the less money that they get. Okay, so it's actually the opposite. And a lot of people think that hospitals make and they do, especially on those surgeries and everything. They make a hell of a lot of money. So it says Roseland Hospital, located at 45 West 111th Street in Chicago. I'm wondering if it's, um, let me see, because I'm trying to see if it's nonprofit. Okay. So yeah, I think Roseland is a nonprofit hospital. Rosa is a nonprofit hospital, so she may possibly still be a inpatient at that hospital. But even nonprofits, depending on the time of the year, and like I know from mainstream media that they said there's been an upkick in COVID-19 cases. She could possibly have been discharged. I don't think she's there anymore, especially in a place as big as the Shy. Okay. But yeah, so y'all, I'm sorry. I have to change the title of this live. I did contact D Ice and tried to get him on here. Um, he has not responded back to me. I'm not sure if it's because he's still in the mayor's office. Um, I think I'm Eastern time zone. I think Chicago is Central, so he would be an hour behind me. I think. Okay, because where I'm at, it's almost 5 o'clock where I'm at.
Yeah, it's almost 6 o'clock there.
So it's almost 6 o'clock there,
All right, hold on.
or
Hold on.
4 o'clock. I'm thinking it's almost 4 o'clock there because he should be behind me. Ro, are you still in the Shy?
I'm about to say they should be ahead because I know that was my case last the other day because I was in Gary.
You were in Gary.
Yeah, and we were an hour. I thought I thought I would be this way by 3, but it was really the hour ahead. Yeah,
Here, let me just Google. Ro said
yeah.
he's
There you go.
still in the Shy. So let me just Google. What time is it in Chicago? So it says it's 3:54. Okay, thanks, Ro. Cause that's what I was thinking. Okay, because he responded and he said, "Well, I thought the live was going to be at 2, and I got on here at 2. Well, 3 my time, 2 o'clock Chicago time. So I was on here at that time, and I believe he may have gotten caught up in the mayor's office because he did say beforehand that he had something to do, or he was in a meeting. He did say that, but he said that 2 o'clock worked for him. So let me see. I said, "Good morning. My name is Candace. I have a YouTube channel where I cover missing and murder cases of Black women and children. I saw your video. First, I would like to thank you for not ignoring that young lady's cries for help. We definitely need more people like you in the community. Is there a day you're available to speak with me on my channel?" And he says, he leaves his number and he says to call him. I said, "Okay, give me about 15 minutes." Um, and I say, "Hi, I called you. Are you available to speak with me on my channel later today?" He says he's in a meeting, but after 2 p.m. will work for him. I say, "Okay, I'll send you a link around that time, and I'll need your email." Okay. Now I can't send links any way I want to, but I prefer the email. He sends his email. I say, thanks, I'll send the link in an hour. Okay. And I sent the link and I told him we would be going live in about 25 minutes. He said he was still in the conference with the mayor. I said, okay, that's fine. Feel free to join. I thought he would join. I thought maybe he would be 15 or 20 minutes late. And, so he said he's still in the mayor's office and he said something about grant money. I believe I don't know what's going on with that. Okay. So I'm not going to speak on it. I'm not going to assume anything. So he says, I say, I understand, but will you be available either tomorrow or later on tonight? He says later tonight. I say, what time? He says they're letting them out at 3. Okay, so he hasn't gotten back to me yet. But all in all, I do thank him for his quick response to that young lady. I thank him that he did not ignore him and that ignore her rather, and he stepped in and did something. I did try to get him on live or whatever. So Rose says, I don't know how to post, but if you go to the WGN News, they are doing a small interview with the lady. Okay, hold on. Ro, I might have to send you the link. Hold on. WGN News, Chicago. She didn't want to be identified. Okay. Let me see if they're live on Facebook. So hopefully, y'all, when I get 2 monitors, I can do this on the screen and you guys can see what I'm doing on the screen. Let's see. So you trying to hit the link from your phone, Ro? Let me see. Okay, so I looked them up. They're not live on Facebook. They probably are, but let me see. WNGTV or is it WGN News? WGN TV, WGN News Chicago. Okay. Yeah, but I don't know if he got caught up in something or if he got cold feet or whatever. I'm talking about DIs, by the way. But yeah, I did offer to interview with him today just to see like how the whole situation went down, to see if anybody had contacted or been in contact with the young lady, to see if she was okay or what have you. Because yeah, it's good to see people like Good Samaritans, like like DIs get their recognition. But I also want to know if the lady is okay, and I want to, and not only just because of the situation that happened with her and that creepy man or that predator. But a lot of times, if you talk to victims, you can figure out um, a predator's routine. And a lot of times, what I found is a lot of predators keep the same routine when they go after their victims. Like the guy that I covered in Bronx, New York, he used the same routine when he went after his victims. Okay, he used the same routine. He robbed them, he caught them in elevators, and he raped them. So it was the same routine. Okay, so that's also why I wanted to see if somebody had checked in on her and spoke with her. But if they have the as well, the police probably isn't saying what they know, which I don't believe they should release her identity, but at least tell what she knows about the description of this predator and how he moves and how, like, where did this happen, how did this happen, because it can help prevent it the next time. Y'all see what I'm saying? Because the guy from the Bronx, the rapist from the Bronx, he would catch his victims alone in the elevator. He would grape them. He would pull a knife on them and all, and he would rob them. And he was going the same way. He was doing the same shit each time. Okay. Ro, I'm gonna send you my email so you can send the link to that live to my email, and I'll look at it a little later on. But later on this week, y'all, I am talking to some pretty influential people. I believe Wednesday I'm talk. Shout out to Audrisha Harris. Audrisha Harris works for. Let's see. Let's pull up my stuff on Audrisha. Let me send my email to Ro real quick. That's my email, Ro. You can just email that link to me. So let me see. Shout out to Christian Cashel. Christian Cashel was the publisher and author who interviewed with me last week, and she sent two other people to me, and I'm still waiting for them to get back to me about their interviews. Okay, so shout out to her, and I can't wait. I still have to purchase her book. I have not forgotten to purchase that book. But
did you put the links to that on the other one? Because
yeah,
I wanted to get it too.
yep. And I still
Okay.
have Christian's email, so I can email her
Yeah.
as well. But I put the link to her publishing company, because I thought she was amazing because it's hard as hell to I've never
Yes.
other than Vicky Stringer, have not heard about no black woman having no publishing company. So I thought that
Yes.
was the bomb. But my Wednesday interview is with Drees Harris. Okay, her full name is Audrisha. Okay, she is the daughter of two, not one, y'all, but two Army veterans and a native of Ashburn, Virginia. She received her commission into the United States Army. Do y'all hear that? And this woman decided she wanted to grace Black Women Aware and speak with me. So I have the live up. You can go to that live video and set a reminder. I'll be interviewing with her Wednesday, but she says that she received her commission into the United States Army as a second lieutenant of Norfolk State University in 2002. Drees currently serves as the director of communications for the Army Future Command. In her most previous assignment, she served as senior communication advisor to the Secretary of the Army from 2019 to 2021. Prior to that, she served as a Pentagon spokesperson. Okay? That's who I will be speaking with on Wednesday. So we definitely gotta give her respect and her time. Like I'm looking forward to that interview. And she's going to be talking to us. She said she wanted to talk to us about becoming a leader and being a leader. Okay. And I personally feel like I can learn something from Miss Harris, y'all.
And I can't wait because that's right up my alley.
Right. Y'all don't understand. I got my little notebook. Every time I do these interviews, I have my little notebook and my notes and stuff ready. But I'm gonna be doubly ready for Miss Harris. I'm telling y'all what I know. That's amazing. And she came from a family with two Army veterans. Okay. So I believe both of her parents were Army veterans. Okay. Let's see here. Let me read a little bit more about her. So it says during her time as a Pentagon spokesperson, Drees advised the Secretary of Defense and his executive staff principals on how to effectively communicate to the public on high profile topics such as military presence in Africa, DOD's or Department of Defense's premier artificial intelligence program. Y'all, this woman popping. Do y'all hear that? Do y'all hear that? And so, for the people on here watching, let me reiterate: I am doing these interviews. They're not really business interviews. They're interviews for Black women specifically, but for anything Black women want to talk about. As long as you feel like it will help other Black women, you can. That my email's in the chat box. Okay, you can send me an email and I will schedule you and get you on my schedule for those interviews. Now, for right now, I'm just doing those interviews on Wednesdays, Fridays, and Saturdays. But Thursday, I will be interviewing with Tierra Maynard. Now, Tierra Maynard's sister passed away under suspicious circumstances. Okay, so I had to make the exception for her. Okay, because that is like the core of what Black Women Aware is all about. Okay, it's those missing and murder cases. Okay, but the main days for everybody else will be Wednesdays, Fridays, and Saturdays All you have to do is email me. When you email me, send me your picture, send me a link to whatever kind of work you do or anything like that. I always make sure to put the links to your businesses or whatever it is that you want to talk about or do in that description box or the comment section. Don't only send me that, but tell me a little bit about what you want to get on my platform and talk about. What do you feel as a Black woman could help other Black women? Okay. And the main reason why I'm doing this interview, as I said in the last interview with Christian Cashel, is because I am breaking up that stereotype that Black women are ghetto, loud, and all, because that's not who we are, y'all. That was a lie. That's a lie that the media put out and that most Black men like to push, okay, about us, that we're loud, you can't deal with us and all, and that's completely not true. When I travel, the main people who come to my aid and help me and put me up on game or stuff is Black women. And I can't say older Black women, I can't say younger Black women. It's just Black women, and it be Black women of all ages. Okay, they'll pull my ass to the side in a minute, in a heartbeat, and be like, Candace, look, let me put you up on game and help you with XYZ. Okay, so this is something that I feel like not only will help the younger generations of Black women. Y'all don't understand, like back in the day when I was y'all for Ro, shout out to Ro and Queen Riri. I was in love with y'all hometown. Chicago was my heart. Chicago, I wrote poetry in my teen years, and Chicago was someplace, like, I didn't know a lot about Chicago because I didn't grow up in Chicago, but I am from the Midwest. But Chicago was like, I don't even, it was like poetry to me. It was just a beauty. It was my love. It was my first love. Okay. Especially because I was into the arts. So when I interviewed Christian Cashel last week, and Christian Cashel tells her story about how she and two other people started this publishing company, y'all, she took me back. Okay. She took me back, and I would have loved being like 14, 15, 16, 17, and having to have the privilege to go on the internet and look up another Black woman like myself as a role model and see, hey, she did it. And not only did she did it, but she's inspiring me to do this as well, or to keep going through hard times. And it's motivational. Okay. That's what I'm aiming to do as well. So with Christian, I believe one of the questions that I asked her was, what made you keep going through all the difficult challenges? And that's one of the questions that I am going to save as well for Miss Harris, because Miss Harris, y'all, this coming up Wednesday, Miss Harris is going to be something, y'all. I can't wait to interview her. That's going to be something. She had a very important job, and I believe she still is in that same position that she's in. Okay. And I can't wait to interview her, y'all. I can't wait. Friday, I'm going to be interviewing another author, Lucy Chahande. I think I pronounced her name Chahande, not Chahande. Okay. But Lucy is an author. Okay. I'm going to be interviewing her as well this Friday. Thursday, it is Tiara Maynard, and we're going to be discussing the circumstances around her sister's disappearance. So this time, y'all, I'm going to start to get ready to get off of here, because I've waited. I've been on here for 2 hours. I've been on here longer than what I intended to. I thought that D Ice was going to come up and give us his testimony and everything. I don't know. Maybe he got caught up. But yeah, so I'm a little upset that we couldn't have that live or whatever. I did try, y'all, but much respect to him anyways. Thank you, D Ice, for responding to that young woman's cries for help, because a lot of people would not have done that. A lot of people would not have involved themselves, especially because we still, to this day in the year 2022, we still have that code of silence or whatever. And one of these days I might have a live specifically talking about that snitch code or whatever, because I don't feel like that snitch code should apply to the general public. I feel like, for example, if me and Cent allegedly got together and did a crime together, then that snitch code would apply to both of us, but it shouldn't apply to the general public. And a lot of times people don't want to get involved with this stuff because they scared of the local hood niggas or gangsters or whatever the hell y'all want to call them. They're scared of them. They're scared of the retaliation and all. So they will likely turn a blind eye, you know. And then I can't even say it's just the hood dudes. You know, it's not just that, but we got to look into what's going on in these police departments as well. Do y'all agree or don't y'all agree? You know, and if you don't agree, tell me why you don't agree. You know, what did I miss? Am I missing something?
You're hitting it right on the nose, right on the head.
You know, and then I'm hearing Mayor Lightfoot. I heard she's a real good mayor. Okay. I heard she's a real good mayor. I need to get in contact with some of my friends that live in the Chicago area and see if they want to come up and speak. But I heard she's a very good mayor, you know, because I want to talk about the whole everything that's surrounding and these crimes, not just what's going on in the communities, but what's going on around the communities. I want to touch on it all. Y'all see what I'm saying? But yeah, y'all, I'm not gonna hold y'all any longer. I thank y'all for joining me on this live. I do apologize. I did have everything set up. I sent D Ice the link to come up and join me on this live, so we could give him his flowers, and not only that, but hear from his side of what happened that day and if he has been in contact with this young lady. Okay, that's what I really want to know. Has he been in contact with this young lady? Has he contacted her during her hospital stay? Did he see how she was? Does he said in the video that he's aware of her, he knows of her, he's seen her around the neighborhood. Okay, so that further begs the question, like, has anybody checked up on her while she was in the hospital? Has anybody checked up on her like after her stay or whatever? But I get the strong feeling that because this type of thing is so normal, not just in Chicago. I don't want to say just Chicago, because we have named off so many fucking cities where there's a whole bunch of abandoned properties and crime is happening. It's not just Chicago, okay? But I wonder if people are just going to let this go by the wayside because it's so common. Okay. Then before I go, I want to read to y'all some of these news article titles, okay, that has something to do with abandoned houses. And all I looked up in Google, y'all, was abandoned houses and missing persons. And I'm gonna read some of these titles. You know, so when D Ice is talking about the abandoned house situation, I agree with him. Something does need to be done about these abandoned houses, but there's a lot of loopholes to that, because then you got to look up who owns these properties. Does the state or the city own them? Is it the bank that owns them? Is it a private landlord? And what's being done? Why are they abandoned? Why isn't anybody working on them? Why are they not being rented out or sold? You know, it's a lot of loopholes to that. It's not as simple as people think it is. But just one news article, it says inside Cleveland, Ohio's haunted house where 3 missing girls were found. Now, this was back in 2013. I believe this is the Amanda Berry. I don't know if this is the Amanda Berry case or not. Okay, I think it is. Yeah, this was the Amanda Berry case. Okay, but that's just one news article. I'm not really going to read the articles. I just want to read to y'all all the news, like their titles and how common this shit is. Okay. Okay, that was one. So they called that a haunted house in Cleveland where Amanda. Do y'all remember Amanda Berry?
I don't. I
Amanda
think we
Berry
talked
is
about it,
the
but
girl.
my
Y'all know
brain
Mike Epps. She had the
was
same
on mute.
thing as this woman in this situation. It was a black man. I forgot his name. I think he went on CNN and everything. Just like this situation with D Ice, it was a black man in the Amanda Berry case, and he heard the screams from inside the house, and he was the one who got involved, and he like went to the police and got help. Yeah. So Ro says yes, he remembers that. Ro, don't you know? Amanda Berry's mother's, she went on to, I don't know if it was Montel Williams show. I don't know who the hell show it was, but y'all remember that old psychic Sylvia Brown?
Ooh,
Sylvia
yes.
Brown.
Yes,
Sylvia
yes,
was
yes.
a mess. It came out that she was a whole fraud, you know. But Sylvia ass told Amanda Berry's mother that she was dead and gone. And this woman went to her grave believing her daughter was dead and gone. Ain't that crazy?
Yes. Oh
And Mike
no.
Epps, the comedian Mike Epps, y'all, because I like Mike Epps comedy, but Mike Epps, he didn't show that black man who rescued those girls no fucking mercy. He was doing skits about that man because the man's hair was crazy and he kept saying shit like, don't no little white girl run into the arms of a black man for nothing, so I knew something was wrong when she came to me for fucking help. you know Mike Epps didn't give him no mercy. He like made all kind of skits about that. But let me see. Here's the next news article. This one is coming out of the Shy, and it says Markham police investigating how missing elderly woman with dementia ended up in a vacant home. Okay, so that, I mean, she could have wandered in there. She has dementia, so I mean, it could be foul play with that, or it could not be. Okay, so here's another one. It says a woman left the children of her missing friend. Wow. She left the children of her missing friend in an abandoned house. Hold the fuck up, y'all.
That ain't no friend. What kind of
Hell
shit
no.
is
I
that?
think she has some involvement with this case. Where
Hmm.
did this happen? I'm going to read this and then I'm going to get off of here because I don't want to keep y'all for long. So it says a woman left children of her missing friend at an abandoned house. Where is Ricardo James? Okay, and let me see. This is dated for 2000 and damn, this just happened, y'all. February 4th of 2022. Ricardo D. James was granted sole custody of his son and daughter when they were just 3 and 4 years old. The loving father was very protective of them and took his children, to church. According to the Charlie Project, shout out to the Charlie Project, y'all. The Charlie Project covers missing persons cases, okay? So Ricardo never drank alcohol and was never known to abuse drugs. The family lived in the 5900 block of Colt. I think it's Colt Brillante in St. Louis, Missouri. And Ricardo worked at a local nursing home. 40-year-old Ricardo and his 7-year-old daughter and 6-year-old son went to visit a 27-year-old Shanika Pierce. Shanika lived in an apartment on the 4700 block of Ashland Court in St. Louis, Missouri. Ricardo and his kids stayed at Shanika's apartment for a day or two. On October 29th of 2011, someone came to the apartment, picked up James in a vehicle. Ricardo has never returned. Okay, so I definitely suspect some foul play because he doesn't sound like the kind of parent that will leave his children. Okay, and she left the kids at an abandoned house. And the minute that I read, because I cover so many of these cases, the minute I read that she left the children in an abandoned house, basically I feel like she had some part to do with that. Okay, and she was trying to get rid of the kids because y'all got to understand criminal and a criminal mind. You think of those kids as children. She was thinking of those kids as evidence.
Evidence.
Right.
Or
And I don't
witnesses.
want any connection to these children because they're evidence. So let me rid myself of them. Okay. The father is no longer around. This is just my guess. He probably was done away with. So let me rid myself of these two kids because I don't want any connection with this. Because she was probably thinking they would not link that missing person, that missing father, up with her. You know what I'm saying? And it's fucked up when I can read some of these cases. I've literally been able to give predictions in the past about some of these cases. And I'm not no psychic and I'm not prophesying to y'all. But when you read up on so much of this shit, you literally can predict how the ending goes. Sometimes there's a twist and a turn and you're wrong, but other times, most of the time you'll be right. But without further ado, y'all, I thank y'all for joining me on this live. I'm sorry I could not get D Ice up here. I did attempt to, though. Okay, hopefully I can get in contact with him and see if we can schedule for another time. Y'all remember what I always like to tell y'all: be safe, be alert, be aware. Please be safe, be alert, be aware, because there's a lot of shit going on in today's world. Okay. This is Candace Yvette and Sit, and we are going to sign off. What you saying, Ricardo? I mean, Ro. Ro said, but often people know the abuser. Yeah, the lady here said he had spoken to him before, and that's why she wasn't alarmed. Right, right. She did know him. But yeah, so we'll hopefully I can get a hold of D Ice and we can discuss it further at a later time. But y'all have a good evening. I'm gonna get off
Have
of
a
here.
good evening.
Y'all take care.
All righty. Have a good night.